So, Karen asked me to do a video, and I thought a nice, simple thing that a lot of people might find helpful is learning another way to make use of Instant Pot devices that more and more people have. This is very versatile, and my favorite way to use it is with making homemade yogurt. We've been making homemade yogurt for at least a year, maybe a little bit more, and took a little bit of working out to figure out, just the right method. This is not necessarily the only way to do it, and I'm sure there's other people who have better ideas, but we figured out something that produces consistently good yogurt that everybody in the family enjoys. Just a little bit of background. We make generally a gallon at a time. We choose to make it with whole milk, and we use Oakhurst, but probably any milk would work fine. The other ingredient is yogurt. Now, some people use some yogurt from the previous batch. We tried that for a while, and then we found that the taste of the yogurt was getting a little bit off. Again, maybe that works fine for some people, but I just, every time, start with some good yogurt with lots of good bacteria in it. And, I like either the Fahey or Chobani brands. And then you need some powdered dry milk. Now, you don't have to have powdered dry milk, but we like a thicker yogurt, and powdered dry milk makes it so the yogurt's nice and thick. So just 3 ingredients. And the first part is really simple. So all you have to do is open the milk that you've kept refrigerated, and then you pour that into the pot, the Instant Pot. Now, in terms of timing, you need to do this at a time when you have about an hour or so to do stuff in the beginning, and then you go away for 8.5 hours, and then you have to be available after 8.5 hours to put it in the refrigerator, or this time of the year in the garage, so it can chill off. Okay, so you pour that in there, and then you just plug the Instant Pot in here, and plug that in, and then I'm going to have you come in a little bit closer for this, and I'll put on my reading glasses so I can see what I'm doing. Every Instant Pot's there's different styles in Instant Pot, but this one, I don't know if you can see, has a yogurt button. You just press the yogurt button, and then there's an adjust button on this one, and you want it to say boil. Now, it doesn't actually boil, but it gets quite hot, and it has to do that first. And then while it's doing that, you just loosely put the lid on. It doesn't have to be set up like a pressure cooker, but that just helps it heat up quicker. And you wait until it beeps, and that usually takes about somewhere between half an hour and an hour, and then we'll do the next step. Okay, so the Instant Pot just beeped, and it changed from saying boil to what looks like an abbreviation of yogurt. Now, it's not yogurt yet, and if you want to, Clara's helping now with the film. If you want to come a little bit closer, it just looks like hot milk, which is basically what it is. And if we use a thermometer, which is handy to have, and we check it right now. So it's and it looks like it's getting close to 170 degrees, just to give you a ballpark idea of how hot it gets. So it's, again, not boiling, but it's hot. And you can do this with bare hands, is just lift that out. I set it on the counter. I unplug the Instant Pot. And then, depending on how much of a hurry I am in, I either just let it sit there, or sometimes I'll put it in the refrigerator, or in the wintertime put it outside in the garage. Usually just sitting there is the best way to deal with it. And then it has to cool down to approximately 115 degrees. Now, usually I use a thermometer. Sometimes you do it enough, you get a sense of what that feels like. But a thermometer is a good idea to start with. And so when that cools down, then we'll be back and talk about the next steps. Okay, so we're going to check the temperature. Claire, you want to come in close? And so that looks about perfect, just 114 or so. It's not super fussy, but 115, 110, that's kind of what you want to be aiming for. Now, don't go away. When this is cooling down, a film forms on the top, and the original recipe that I saw talks about taking it off. I'm not sure you really have to, but I usually do. So just a little bit comes off like that. We give it to the dog. You can do whatever you want to with it. Okay, and then the next step is adding your starter. And that's our dog. And what I do is take about half of it out and set that off to the side. And then I just add a little bit of the warm milk to it. Apologize about that. Okay, so it's more liquidy, and then pour that in. Okay, good enough. And then what I do is I take the powdered milk, and this is something you can decide what you want to do in terms of how thick you want your yogurt to be. If you want a thinner yogurt, don't add any dried milk. If you want it really thick, you'd add a lot. We add kind of a little bit of a heaping cup, and that seems to make our family happy. So I just pour that in. And then stir until the powdered milk is blended in. Okay, and then we're ready to go. You just put it back in here and plug it back in. And then you put the top on. And you want it so that it's on the venting setting on top. And then again you press yogurt and then adjust. And there's a default for 24 and then 8, and then I just add it to 8:30. And then just let it go, and we're gonna go for a hike, and then we'll have yogurt later. Okay, so it's been 8.5 hours since the last portion of this. Sorry again about the dog barking. Hopefully that can be somewhat edited out. So it just made a sound, and now and again says yogurt. And we'll uncover it and see how it looks. So when you take the lid off, generally there's quite a bit of condensation on the top of the lid. So I try to keep that level and take it over to the sink and let that go out. And then you lift this up. You got nice, thick yogurt that will get even thicker as it cools down. Sometimes it even separates a little bit. There's some liquid that can come out, and that's fine. So, and then what we generally do is, if your Instant Pot doesn't come with this, you can buy a cover. We used to just put foil on it or another cover, but this keeps it nicer. And then you get it refrigerated, and then in a few hours you can start using it. So, speaking of using it, what do we do with yogurt? Well, we eat it with granola, we make parfaits. One of my favorite things to do is to put some frozen fruit in the bottom of a container like this with a cover, and then we put some yogurt on top. That goes in lunches, and then there's nothing going in landfills, so it's good for the environment. There's certainly a lot less plastic waste when you make your yogurt like this than if you buy it from the store. You know exactly what's in it. So I think, Karen, anything else we want to say about the yogurt?
That's great.
Okay, so try it out. We'll write something up so that it's available in written form too. And enjoy. Thank you.